Every once in a while, there comes a conversation that feels bigger than just two people talking. It feels like a glimpse into the future, a roadmap of where humanity is heading. That's exactly what happened when Joe Rogan sat down with Elon Musk. This wasn't just another podcast episode about cars, rockets, or technology. It was about something far more important, the next generation. The children and young people who will inherit the world we are building today. And if you listen closely, Elon Musk isn't simply talking about business or innovation. He's talking about survival, responsibility, and hope. Joe Rogan, known for asking the raw and unfiltered questions, pushed Musk on the issues that matter most. Why go to Mars when Earth itself is in danger? Why pour resources into Tesla and electric cars? Why buy X and reshape the way people communicate? And most importantly, what does all of this mean for the future of young people? Elon's answers weren't just technical, they were deeply human. He painted a picture of a future where the next generation isn't trapped by the problems we created, but empowered by the solutions we dared to invent. A future where humanity doesn't just survive on one fragile planet, but thrives among the stars. This video isn't just a highlight of a podcast. It's a call to think bigger, dream louder, and prepare the next generation for challenges and opportunities unlike anything in history. So let's dive deep into the mind of Elon Musk through the lens of Joe Rogan's conversation and uncover what the future really holds for SpaceX, Tesla, X, and most importantly, for the next generation. When Joe Rogan asked Elon Musk about the future of SpaceX, the room suddenly felt heavier. This wasn't just about rockets or engineering. It was about survival. Musk explained that the ultimate goal of SpaceX is to make humanity a multi-planetary species, to ensure that our story doesn't end on Earth. He spoke about Starship, the largest and most powerful rocket ever built. Unlike previous space missions, Starship isn't designed just to send astronauts for short shits. It's designed to carry hundreds of people, to deliver cargo, and to eventually build self-sustaining colonies on Mars. For Musk, Mars isn't science fiction. It's plan B for humanity. But Rogan, as always, didn't let him off easy. He asked, why Mars? Why not fix Earth first? Musk paused, then gave an answer that cut deep. Earth is fragile. We live on a planet where a single natural disaster, a nuclear war, or even our own mistakes could wipe out civilization. For humanity to have a future, we need a backup plan. And Mars is that plan. Elon described how the first missions to Mars will be dangerous, even life-threatening. The early settlers will face radiation, freezing temperatures, and a barren landscape, but like the explorers of old, their courage will lay the foundation for future generations. One day, Musk envisions kids growing up in a world where living on another planet isn't a dream, it's reality. Joe Rogan listened in awe. For him, this wasn't just about rockets. It was about vision, about giving the next generation something bigger to believe in. Musk's message was clear. If we want humanity to last, we must reach for the stars. After their intense talk about SpaceX and Mars, Joe Rogan leaned in and shifted the conversation back to Earth. He asked Elon Musk the question many people wonder: why Tesla? Why put so much effort into electric cars when rockets and Mars are so much more exciting? Elon Musk smiled, because for him, Tesla isn't just a car company. It's a mission. He explained that the world runs on fossil fuels and this dependency is destroying the planet. If humanity is to have a future worth living on Earth, before even thinking about Mars, we need clean energy, sustainable transportation, and innovation that can reverse climate change. Tesla, Musk said, is about proving that sustainable energy can be powerful, affordable, and inspiring. When Tesla first launched, many laughed at the idea of electric cars. They said EVs were slow, boring, and impractical. But Musk turned that perception upside down. He showed the world that an electric car could outrun a Ferrari, that it could be sleek, stylish, and even self-driving. Joe Rogan jumped in, fascinated by the idea of autopilot and AI-driven cars. He asked if it was safe, if people could really trust a computer to drive them. Elon admitted that it's not perfect yet, but insisted that one day AI cars will be far safer than human drivers. He pointed out that more than 1 million people die in car accidents every year worldwide, mostly due to human error. If AI can cut that number even in half, millions of lives will be saved in the next generation. But Tesla isn't just about cars. Musk emphasized Tesla's work on solar energy, massive battery storage, and energy solutions for entire cities. He explained that the true dream is to build a world where homes, businesses, and even whole countries run on clean, renewable energy. Imagine a child in the future growing up in a city where every car is electric, every rooftop is covered in solar panels, and every home runs on sustainable power. That's the legacy Tesla is trying to create. Rogan nodded, realizing this wasn't just about a company, but about changing the trajectory of human history. Musk admitted the journey hasn't been easy. Tesla almost went bankrupt more than once. He had to risk everything, money, time, and even his health. But he did it because he believes the next generation deserves a world where progress doesn't come at the cost of the planet. For Musk, the fight for sustainable energy isn't optional, it's a responsibility. And just like SpaceX gives people hope for the stars, Tesla gives people hope for Earth. Both are connected because before humanity can thrive beyond this planet, we must first learn to protect the one we call home. Joe Rogan ended this part of the conversation with a laugh, saying, "Man, you're not just building cars, you're building the future." And Elon Musk simply replied, "Exactly, because the future belongs to the next generation." After discussing Tesla and sustainable energy, Joe Rogan brought up another surprising part of Elon Musk's journey, his decision to buy Twitter, now rebranded as X. Rogan leaned back and asked the obvious question, why would the world's busiest man take on social media? Musk laughed, admitting that at first even he didn't plan to. But he explained that communication is at the heart of human progress. If we can't share ideas freely, we can't innovate. He felt Twitter had become broken, a place full of bias, censorship, and shallow conversations. His mission with X is to transform it into something much bigger, a super app that combines free speech, global communication, finance, and even AI tools into one platform. Joe Rogan raised his eyebrows. "So basically, you're building the digital town square for the world?" Musk nodded. He said that the next generation will live in a world where physical and digital realities blend together. Social media won't just be a place to post pictures, it will be the foundation of culture, politics, education, and even business. If the platform is broken, society suffers. But if it works, it can empower billions of voices. He shared his vision of X as a platform where young people can not only express themselves freely, but also learn, create, and build businesses. Imagine a student in a small village launching a global startup directly from their phone. Imagine a young creator reaching millions without needing traditional media. That's the kind of opportunity Musk believes X can provide. Of course, Rogan pressed him about the risks, misinformation, online hate, manipulation. Musk admitted it's a huge challenge, but he argued that the solution isn't to silence people, it's to encourage more speech, more debate, and more responsibility. Sunlight is the best disinfectant, he said. For Musk, X isn't just about tweets or trend. It's about shaping how the next generation thinks, communicates, and connects. He wants it to be a place where ideas move faster, where truth rises above noise, and where the world feels a little bit smaller and more united. Joe Rogan shook his head, half amazed and half overwhelmed. "So you're building cars, rockets, energy systems, and now the future of conversation?" Musk smiled and replied, "Because the next generation deserves tools that give them power, not take it away." After discussing rockets, cars, and even the digital world, Joe Rogan leaned forward and asked Elon Musk the most important question of the conversation: what message would you give to the next generation? Musk didn't rush to answer. He paused, took a breath, and then spoke with unusual simplicity. He said the future doesn't belong to governments, companies, or billionaires. It belongs to the next generation, the kids growing up today, who will inherit everything humanity builds or destroys. He began with dreams. Musk urged young people not to think small. He explained that every great achievement in history, from building the pyramids to landing on the moon, started with someone daring to dream bigger than what seemed possible. "If your dreams don't scare you," he said, "they're not big enough." But dreams, he continued, must be paired with hard work. He admitted that his own journey was brutal. Nights spent sleeping in factories, endless failures, and constant criticism. He told Rogan that most people quit when things get hard, but that's exactly the moment that defines success. The next generation must learn to push through pain because the future will not be handed to them. It will be earned. Musk also emphasized responsibility. He warned that technology is a double-edged sword. AI, rockets, and digital platforms can either uplift humanity or destroy it, depending on how they are used. He urged young people to use technology as a tool for building, not tearing down. The choices they make with innovation will shape the world their children grow up in. Joe Rogan asked him about fear, about how young people should deal with uncertainty. Musk's answer was both honest and encouraging. Fear is natural, but courage is acting in spite of fear. If you wait to be fearless, you'll never move forward. Then Musk spoke about hope. He believes the greatest gift we can give the next generation is not money or comfort, but a sense of purpose, a reason to wake up every morning and believe they can change the world. Whether that means becoming an engineer, an artist, a doctor, or an explorer, what matters is choosing a path that makes life better for others. For Musk, the next generation is not just the future of humanity, they are its only chance. If they embrace creativity, courage, and responsibility, they can solve problems we can't even imagine today. But if they give in to fear, distraction, or hopelessness, then all of Musk's rockets, cars, and platforms won't matter. Joe Rogan listened quietly, realizing this wasn't a billionaire talking about business. This was a father, an innovator, and a dreamer speaking directly to the youth of the world. Elon Musk's final words on the subject were simple but powerful. The next generation must believe in themselves because the future depends on them more than they realize. As the conversation drew toward its end, Joe Rogan sat back in his chair, almost overwhelmed. They had traveled across the stars with SpaceX, driven through the future with Tesla, and explored the digital frontier with X. But behind every topic, there was a common thread: the next generation. Elon Musk had revealed that all his work, no matter how different it seemed, was part of one unified vision: to give humanity a chance, not just to survive, but to thrive. SpaceX wasn't just about Mars. Tesla wasn't just about cars. X wasn't just about social media. All of it was about creating a world and a future that young people could inherit with pride, not fear. Musk explained that when history is written, the inventions themselves may fade, but the impact on human lives will last forever. No one remembers every detail of the Industrial Revolution, he said, but everyone lives in the world it created. The same will be true for the changes happening right now. Joe Rogan leaned in and asked, "So when you think about the next 50 or 100 years, what do you actually see?" Musk's answer was part dream, part challenge. He described a future where humanity has bases on Mars and maybe even moons of Jupiter, where kids grow up not only learning math and science, but also dreaming about interplanetary travel as casually as we now dream about vacations. He spoke of cities powered entirely by renewable energy, where Tesla's vision has erased pollution and given back clear skies. He imagined digital platforms like X becoming not tools of division but bridges that connect humanity across cultures and continents. But then his voice grew serious. He warned that none of this is guaranteed. The future will not build itself. Progress requires courage, sacrifice, and leadership. He said that the greatest danger to the next generation isn't technology or climate change or even war. It's apathy, the belief that someone else will solve the problems, that someone else will build the future. Musk insisted that every young person must understand they are the ones who will decide whether humanity becomes a multiplanetary species, whether Earth heals or collapses, whether freedom of thought thrives or dies. The responsibility is enormous, but so is the opportunity. Joe Rogan, usually known for jokes and wild stories, sat unusually quiet. He admitted that conversations like this make him reflect on his own children and on the generations that will follow. He said, "It feels like we're standing at the edge of something massive, like the choices we make right now echo for centuries." Musk agreed. He said this is the first time in human history where our tools are powerful enough to change the destiny of the species. Fire, electricity, the internet, all of them transformed humanity. But rockets, AI, and digital platforms hold even greater potential. Used wisely, they can elevate civilization. Used recklessly, they can destroy it. The deciding factor, Musk emphasized, will be the mindset of the next generation. And then, almost as a final note, he returned to the theme of hope. He said hope isn't naive, it's necessary. Without hope, no one would build rockets, invent new energy systems, or risk everything for an idea. Hope is what pushes humanity forward, even in the darkest times. The next generation, he said, must carry that torch. As the cameras kept rolling, Joe Rogan summed up what everyone listening was thinking. So what you're really saying is, all of this, the rockets, the cars, the platforms, it's not about you, it's about them. Musk nodded slowly. Exactly, because when I'm gone, when we're all gone, they're the ones who will live in the world we leave behind. Everything I do is for them. And that's how the conversation ended, not with talk of profits or products, but with a vision of a future where humanity dares to dream, dares to work, and dares to believe in the power of the next generation. For anyone watching, it was more than just a podcast. It was a challenge, a call to action, because the future isn't coming, the future is already here, and it belongs to those who are ready to shape it.